Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the 2012 Blue Cross Spring Fling Softball Championships. We're at the Starplex on the north side of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm Dwayne Hickey along with Karen Green. We're here to bring you every exciting moment of this championship action today. And Karen, this time of year it comes down to one thing. It comes down to pitching, and both teams have outstanding pitchers. Coach Brian Dunn of USJ has Lauren Rydell.
Lauren Rydell has had a fabulous week. It's going to be exciting for her. This is her third state championship tournament game to play in. She's 2-1 this week. She won the state championship as a freshman, and now she's returning as a senior, so it's going to be interesting what Lauren can do and see if she can forget yesterday and last evening and pick it up today.
On the other side of the diamond, it is Davidson Academy Coach Stacy Sweeney. She has Savannah Hill on the mound today.
Savannah also has a tremendous amount of experience. The positive aspect about Savannah is nothing seems to bother her. She's very laid back. She lost the first game against USJ this week and then came back strong last night as though she'd never played them before. So here we go again for the rubber match.
It's Middle Tennessee versus West Tennessee. We're in Murfreesboro. We'll be back with the first pitch and the starting lineups. You're watching 2012 Softball Championship action on the TSSAA Network. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the TSSAA network, go to TSSAAnetwork.com/SBP.
And welcome in to the Starplex complex on the north side of Murfreesboro. This is the Division II Class A softball championships. The Davidson Academy Lady Bears taking on USJ. This is a 3-game series. This is the third game, and we're now looking at the starting lineups. First for the visitors, Davidson Academy will lead off with Liz Stevens playing shortstop. Kinsey Sadler bat 2 and play left field. In the 3 slot will be Savannah Peak at catcher. Batting cleanup will be Darby Raines playing second base. Ashton Gassaway will be in right field. Easy Gray at third base. Shannon Rowe at first base. Holly Hockaday is the designated player. And Alex Gibson, the junior in center field, will round out the starting lineup for Davidson Academy. Now for the homestanding USJ squad. They'll start with Lauren Rydell. Their pitcher will lead off. Haley Hall will bat second and play third. Allie Glover, the catcher, in the 3-hole. Cleanup is Logan Hall at shortstop. Kristen Pickens in left field, Katie Exum in right field, Anna Rice getting a start today at the designated player, Samantha Sullivan in center field, and Kaylee Wayner rounds out the lineup at second base. And we're ready to go as Davidson Academy sends the shortstop, Liz Stevens, to the plate. Stevens on this tournament is 3 for 14, and I'm joined by Karen Green. And Karen, one game for all the marbles.
One game for all the marbles. This is what you've worked all year for, and if you've had early morning workouts, gotten up early, this is the culmination of it. All your individual lessons on a daily basis, this is what it's for. This is what you play for right here.
Rydell's first pitch is wide of the mark. It's ball 1. Stevens stands in from the right side, crowding the plate up in the box. Rydell looks into Glover, gets the sign, and the pitch. That one is a little bit high. It's 2-0.
Probably some butterflies right now with the pitcher. She did a nice job last night of getting ahead of the batters. And that first few batters they faced, kind of a little nervous.
Long look in by the pitcher. Rydell, so much that Stevens steps out of the box. Little gamesmanship going on here early as these teams have split their 2 games in this tournament. Davidson Academy had to win last night and got the victory to force game 3 today. Now there's the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. It's 2-1.
With both coaches, if they like chess, this is a good game for them. They love to play those 9 games with the teams and with each other as well.
So USJ trying to find a way to get one more victory. Davidson Academy doing the same. That pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. The count now even at 2-2. As we mentioned, Stevens 3 for 14 in this tournament. She scored 4 runs, driven in 2 from the leadoff spot. Let's get a long look in. A little bit of an off-speed pitch is going to be flared out toward right field, and it's going to find the grass, and it'll wind up being at least a double as Liz Stevens flares one to right. Second baseman Kaylee Wayner just couldn't quite get a glove on it. It was just off the end of the bat, Karen.
Just off the end of the bat, went to the opposite side of the field, right beyond the reach of the infield. And that's an awesome job of Stevens starting off the game, setting the tone immediately, getting runners already in scoring position. That's what Davidson would like to do.
So stepping to the plate from the left side will be the left fielder, Kinsey Sadler. Sadler with a runner on second. Nobody out to start. She's going to put the bunt down to move the runner over. Nice sacrifice. That force goes 5-3, but it moves Stevens from second to third.
Great execution on that bunt. Moving that runner another 60 feet closer to home plate. Did a nice job, Sadler, of sacrificing her over, staying at the top of the strike zone and that bunt down.
There's McFarland, the flex player, playing first base. Keeps her foot on the bag for the force out. There's one out here in the top of the first. Davidson Academy with a runner on third, and we've got a step out there by Savannah Peak, the catcher.
Peak was one that had an RBI last night. See what she can do again today with runners in scoring position.
No count here to the third place hitter, Peak, and she takes that first pitch. It's for a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Peak, one of the hotter hitters, 5 for 12 with 3 runs driven in this tournament. That ball wide of the mark, 1-1.
Waddell gets her curveball in there for strike. She'll be tough to handle there.
She's pitched the entire tournament for USJ. This ball's hit in the air to short left field. Pickens is underneath it, makes the catch. Not deep enough for the runner Stevens to tag. It'll be a fly out to left field for Peak. Second out here in the first inning. Stepping into the box will be the cleanup hitter, the second baseman, Darby Raines. And Raines has driven in 3 runs of her own in this tournament. She'd like to get one more right here. She puts the ball high in the air but pulled well foul. Just a noisy strike to the second baseman for Davidson Academy.
Nice job of Rydell getting ahead of the batter. Rydell's been in this position many a times. This is her 3rd state championship appearance, won it as a freshman in 2010, so she's definitely got the experience behind her.
The line of the pitch, that ball is going to be hit off the fist, caught in foul ground by the third baseman Hall to end the inning for Davidson Academy. No runs, no hits, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 player left on base. We're through a half inning. Davidson Academy and USJ are scoreless here in Murfreesboro. The Bruins are coming to bat. So, Karen, as you kind of get through that half inning now, as you go out defensively, you know you had an opportunity to score a run there in the top of the first. How does that play with your mindset when you have an early opportunity that you just really couldn't capitalize on?
Well, you're excited that you were able to put a bat on the ball. Being Rydell, as powerful as she is, knowing that, hey, we can put a bat on the ball, we can get runners in scoring position. That's a plus going into it. Kind of disappointing that we wasn't able to score that runner, but at least we know that we can hit her. And we have plenty of game left, put down the ball and have some scoring opportunities.
Well, speaking of Lauren Rydell, she'll be the leadoff batter for the USJ Bruins, and her counterpart, Savannah Hill, on the mound, has had a pretty nice tournament herself. She's 3-1, 29 innings pitched to this point in the tournament, giving up 12 hits and only 7 runs, but her strikeout to walk ratio, 33-7, not too bad.
Not too shabby. She has 51 21 strikeouts in 4 games. Last night against USJ, she had 8 in a row. She had 14 strikeouts against them last night. So we're going to see if USJ makes the adjustment at the plate and puts the bat on the ball and get their runners in scoring position.
So Rydell will step to the plate. And in this tournament, she has been the go-to player for this Bruin squad. She's 2 of 9 with a run scored, and she has crossed the plate 1 time herself. Swinging at that first pitch, and she fouls it off.
Well, this says a lot about Rydell being a junior and being in 3 state tournament appearances. That's just, you know, a lot of teams and a lot of players would like to just be here 1 time or less 3 times. She's been here 3 times in a row, so you wouldn't want any other batter right there than Rydell being in that leadoff position to set the tone for USJ.
Savannah Hill fires that ball a little bit off speed, inside and low, evens the count 1-1. Hill, the senior, fires. That ball fouled straight back. 2 really good cuts by Lauren Rydell in this at bat.
It'll be interesting what the pitchers throw today. Last night they had to rely more on their curveball and some of their screwing on speed. The umpire gave them that outside corner, and both pitchers utilized it well last evening. We'll see today what kind of coverage they have behind the plate.
The 1-2 pitch off speed, a little bit high, evens the count at 2-2.
Talked to the coaches at Davidson Academy. They would like for Samantha's changeup to be a little bit more effective and a little bit more consistent. So
this ball hit on the ground, up the middle, base hit for Lauren Rydell as she takes that offering from Savannah Hill and puts it just to the left of the pitching rubber, past the shortstop into center field, and a good start for the Bruins here in the bottom of the first.
Now we got a courtesy runner for Rydell.
And let's see, I believe it looks like that is 32. Rachel Estenores, and I'm going to mispronounce. I was going to mispronounce that, so I apologize to her friends and family if I've butchered that name. Rachel on first now for Lauren Rydell, who singled to start the game. A little bit of a small ball play. Bunt goes down as Haley Hall puts the bunt down. She is forced at first base, but another 5-3 sacrifice to put a runner in scoring position.
It's good to see these players execute that sacrifice bunt.
Well, one execution obviously very important.
You got to be in the front of that box, start the bat at the top of the strike zone, stay on top of it, get it down. And so many young players don't think that's important. It's very important to get that runner in scoring position. 1 out,
and the batter is Allie Glover. Glover takes the first pitch for a strike.
Championship game like this, it may be a 1-0 ball game.
That may be the run. If you can move the runner and get it in position, that may be the one run that decides the contest.
Correct.
Glover with a big swing and a miss. She's in an 0-2 hole now as she swung at that breaking ball, moving away from her.
So her curveball working again.
Glover stands back in. She swings and misses. She goes down on strikes.
Hill's got a nice curveball, but USJ has got to make an adjustment, let that ball get a little bit closer to the catcher, wait on it, or get out front and hit it before it breaks.
So Glover is the second out of the bottom of the first for the USJ Bruins. They'll send the cleanup hitter to the plate, shortstop Logan Hall. Logan, with only 1 hit and 7 plate appearances in this tournament, takes the first pitch for a ball. It's wide of the mark. 1-0. Hall near the front of the box. Swings, hits it off the fist out to the second baseman, Raines, who makes the catch to end the first inning as we go to the bottom of the first. No runs, no hits, No errors and one person left on base. And at the end of one, we're scoreless here in Murfreesboro, the Division II Class A Softball Championship, the Blue Cross Spring Fling. We head to the top of the second. Scoreless here in Murfreesboro. Dwayne Hickey, Karen Green alongside for the Division II Class A Blue Cross Spring Fling Softball Championship. The number 5 hitter, right fielder Ashton Gassaway, will come to the plate for Davidson Academy. She steps in from the right side, a little bit of an open stance, takes the first pitch from Riddle for a ball.
Dwayne, I felt like we were watching the same two teams, or the same performance for both teams. That first inning was exactly the same. Leadoff runner got on and sacrificed over.
Gassaway takes the next pitch on the inside corner for a strike. I believe going out to break, I said no runs, no hits. Actually, it was no runs, one hit for USJ. So both teams with a hit apiece here as we are in the top of the second and scoreless. Gassaway with a 1-1 count, steps out, time called. It looks like that's a little bit of a plan by Davidson Academy, maybe trying to break Rydell's rhythm.
They would call time, step out, and because Rydell likes to get on that mound and pitch. They don't take a lot of time in between pitches.
She winds, she fires. This ball's going to be hit out towards short. Scooped up by Hall across the diamond, in time for the out. 6-3 force out as Gassaway kind of nubbed it out there. Couldn't quite beat the throw from Hall.
Davidson Academy just needs to make sure that umpire grants time, because the umpire doesn't have to give them time, so they need to make sure before they step out that they have time from the umpire behind the plate.
With one out, that'll bring up Izzy Gray, the third baseman. Takes the ball on the corner for the strike.
Nice curveball.
Rydell mixing speeds well here early. Check swing called for a strike, as that time Gray tried to hole up on a ball up in her eyes and couldn't quite check the bat. Oh, 2 count now with one out here in the bottom, or excuse me, the top of the second. A little bit of a throwaway pitch there by Rydell. She goes wide of the mark. Count now 1-2. Gray 2 for 13 in this tournament. She's scored a run, driven in a run. Takes that pitch low and inside for a ball to even the count at 2-2.
I like the way Rydell's mixing up her pitches today. She's not relying just on one pitch. She's getting ahead of the batters. And mixing the pitches up nicely.
She gets the sign from Glover. She fires, ball hit high in the air, pulled foul, and out of play. Count remains 2-2. Beautiful venue here on the north side of Murfreesboro. Starplex, a multi-field softball and baseball complex. Spring Fling has been here for several years, and the city of Murfreesboro does a fine job in hosting this event. We appreciate all their efforts.
They do a great job, and I know Murfreesboro appreciates all the fan support that's coming in.
As that's wide of the mark, runs the count full, first full count of the ball game. As Izzy Gray is able to work it full. Gray wearing number 22, steps back in. She swings, she hits this ball deep to left field. That ball's going to be out of here. Home run. 3-2 count, and Izzy Gray goes yard.
She got all of that ball to left field. Full count. She knew it was going to be a strike. Rydell didn't want to walk her. The pitcher was coming in, and she knew it was a strike until proven different. Got a nice swing, stayed back, rolled that ball to left field, got it out front.
So Gray's third hit of this tournament is a big one. It gives Davidson Academy a 1-run lead here in the championship game. And that'll send Shannon Rowe, the first baseman, to the plate. Rowe 5 for 12 with a run scored and a run driven in here. Rydell's first pitch is on the inside corner for a strike.
Rydell does a great job of getting ahead of the count. She'll get 2 strikes on him, and it seems that's when we get in trouble, when she gets ahead 2 strikes, and then pitches around them, or they'll put a ball in play and get a base hit. Same thing occurred last time. So I'd like for her and her teammates to get ahead and close that door.
Yeah, she's quickly ahead to Rowe. It's an 0-2 count. Let's see if she tries to nibble. That's what gets her in trouble, as Karen said. We'll see if she comes after Rowe, see if she can get the second out of the inning. 0-2 pitch. Ball put into play toward third. That was Haley Hall who makes the play and gets Rowe by a step, a 5-3 force out for the second out. A little hesitation there, Karen, as it didn't look like whether Rydell wanted to take the ball or if Haley Hall at third was going to pick that one up.
That's Haley's ball all the way. She's got to be coming and charging and take that angle away from that pitcher. She's already facing first base, so Haley needs to attack the ball and get anything she can. That pitcher's facing the opposite direction.
Holly Hockaday, the designated player, steps in. She checks her swing, but not in time. It's a strike. Hockaday 3 for 14. 2 runs scored, 3 runs driven in. Wearing the peak rimmed out of the back of her batting helmet. She's in an 0-1 hole. Rydell's pitch put on the ground toward third. Haley Hall boots it, picks it up, throws it across the diamond in time for the out. A 5-3 force out, but a big hit with a big run. No errors and no one left on base, and we go to the bottom of the second. Davidson Academy leads USJ 1-0. And Karen, the long ball is something that you don't really plan for, especially in a championship game. Typically the pitchers are dominating, and that time Rydell got one up, and Izzy Gray went out of the park.
He went out of the park, most certainly, and that's what Davidson did last night, is when they got runners in scoring position, they scored them. And they did a nice job of getting their leadoffs on, and this wasn't their leadoff, but they scored first, set the tone immediately. So we'll get to see how USJ responds. You also said that Hockaday had some pink hanging out of her ribbon. If you notice in the stands, Davidson Academy is wearing a lot of pink, and they are wearing that pink in honor of a parent and coach, Kathy Fraser, who died this year of cancer, and another player on their team's brother, Hannah Thompson, her brother Hunter, died of cancer, so they're wearing cameo as well. So Davidson's playing with some heavy hearts this postseason tournament, because they have committed their postseason run to these 2 individuals that mean a lot to their family. So that's the reason you see a lot of pink and cameo in the stands and on the players' uniforms today.
Well, certainly a fine way to honor those folks by playing as well as they have in this tournament, and they now have a 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And for the Bruins of USJ, they'll send the left fielder, Kristen Pickens, the right fielder, Katie Exum, and the designated player, Anna Rice, to the plate. And if anyone gets on, Samantha Sullivan will have an opportunity to bat.
The meat of their lineup, so this is good batters to have up at this point of the game.
As Savannah Hill's first pitch is wide of the mark to Pickens for a ball. Pickens 1 for 8, but she's scored twice in this tournament. Second pitch wide of the mark by Hill. It's 2-0.
We tell our batters, however you can get to first, just get there. If you hit a single, you're still at first. If you walk, you're still at first. You reach to find error, you're still at first. So just get to first base.
It's not how. It's just how many runs you can score. It doesn't matter how you get them.
That's right.
Savannah Hill winds and pitches. This ball hit high down the third base line, twisting and going out of play. It's 2-1.
Pickens got some nice quick hands. Like to see her stay on top of that ball a little bit more, but she's got some quick hands and can do some damage with the bat right now.
So Pickens, like most players in this tournament, well forward in the box. She takes the next pitch from Hill for a ball. It is 3-1. 3-1 the count. Davidson Academy on top of USJ. 1-0 here, bottom of the second from Murfreesboro. Glad you could join us on the TSSAA network.
Coach Dunn would love to have Pickens at first base and get an opportunity to move her in scoring position again.
So Hill rocks and fires. Pickens checks her swing, takes the strike on the inside corner. The count is full. I think Pickens thought maybe she had coached the walk there. She turned as if she was going to maybe toss the bat back toward the on-deck circle, but the home plate umpire called it a strike. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on, missed. That's ball 4 all the way, Karen. She just couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait. So a curveball outside off the plate. They've been giving them that outside corner today, and Hill did a nice job of coming back with that curveball and striking out Pickens.
Well, that is strikeout number 2 of the afternoon, or actually I should say morning, for USJ by Savannah Hill. Katie Exum, the right fielder, steps in, also right-handed batter. Takes a pitch. That one's going to be wide of the mark for a ball. It's 1-0.
I'd like to see USJ wait on that pitch and drive it to that outside of opposite field and go with the pitch.
Exum takes the next pitch inside. It is now 2-0. Exum looking for her first hit of this state championship tournament.
Now would be a good time.
That ball catches the outside corner. Runs the count to 2-1. Exum steps out, takes a look down at third base coach and head coach Brian Dunn. Takes another pitch. That ball on the outside corner as well. Runs the count even, 2-2. Couple of hard hacks out of the box there by Exum as she steps back in. Hill wipes the perspiration from her hand, and now she's ready to go. That ball is going to be swung on, pulled down the left field line, off speed there. It looked like maybe Exum was out in front, but did a good job of getting the bat on the ball.
She did do a good job of putting the bat on the ball. Did commit a little bit too soon, but she was still able to connect and foul it off, and now she's looking for a better pitch that she could put in place somewhere.
Count remains 2-2. As Katie Exum steps back into the box. Hill's pitch, swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts by Hill of USJ batters, and now there are 2 down in the bottom of the second. Anna Rice, the designated player, steps into the box.
You have to think about both pitchers, whether they're tired, because they've been pitching almost every game this week and championship series now, and pitching most of the games all season. So you wonder if if either one of them are tired or not. But at this point in the season, no way. This is the time I want to be in that circle right now if I was a pitcher.
Absolutely. Got to run off emotion at this point in the year, even if you're tired. First pitch to Rice is high for a ball, 1-0. Second pitch wide of the mark, 2-0.
Rydell will have plenty of opportunities to go to college somewhere. She's just a junior, so she will have plenty of opportunities to choose a college if that's what she's wanting to do to further her education and playing experience.
That ball finds the outside corner.
Samantha Hill, on the other hand, is a senior and has decided not to play. She has plenty of opportunities and said she's had fun, but she's through after today. This will be her last game.
And that's interesting to see. A nice choice. Swung on and missed there by Rice. 2-2.
She says she wants to be a college student, not a college athlete. So we wish both of those pitchers luck in their futures.
I was fortunate enough to do several of the soccer games, and we had several soccer athletes had made the same choice. They had the opportunity to play in college, but decided just to live college life. That ball is in the dirt. The count is now full, 3-2.
It is a commitment, though, Dwayne. You know as well as I do, because you've worked a lot of college games, and I've been a college coach. It's just a challenge and time strains, and you don't have a lot of free time. You're a student, you're an athlete, and that's about all you have time to do. I enjoyed it, but it's not for everyone.
Full count. Here comes the pitch. Ball fouled back. Rice hanging tough. Count remains full. Savannah Hill takes a little bit of extra time walking around the circle.
Nothing seems to phase either one of these pitchers. They're both laid back.
Here comes the pitch from Hill. And Rice takes it wide of the mark. Ball 4, first walk of the day for Savannah Hill. And that'll put Anna Rice on first base and bring the center fielder Samantha Sullivan
a lot of
to the
teams
dish.
will give up, a lot of teams will give up with 2 outs. Last night, a lot of the damage of all the games that we had seen was the damage was done on 2 outs.
Sullivan takes the first pitch for a ball. Sullivan, I believe, with her first opportunity to swing the bat in this tournament. She's been the flex player of the previous games. Takes the pitch for a strike to even the count at 1-1.
Flex is a little bit different than baseball, isn't it? They don't have a flex in baseball. Flex is just a defensive player only.
As that pitch from Hill is wide of the mark, 2-1. Well, certainly if I'd been fortunate enough to play fast pitch softball, I would have been the defensive specialist. Hitting would not have been my forte for certain. 2-1 count. Swung on and missed. A little bit of an off-speed pitch there by Hill. And got Sullivan swinging. 2-2 count, 1 out here. Bottom of the second, runner on first, 1-0. Davidson Academy on top of USJ.
Sometimes those off-speed pitches come in, look so good, and you get on your front foot and want to hit it. Get out.
Swung on and missed, and Sullivan goes down swinging. Third strikeout of the inning by Savannah Hill. So we have no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 person left on base, and after 2 complete, Davidson Academy 1, USJ nothing. And as we head to the top of the third, we want to remind you that you can purchase a DVD copy of all the Spring Fling Championship coverage going on by logging on to TSSAA and looking for the green Buy It Now button. You can buy softball, soccer, baseball, anything broadcast via the TSSAA network. You should be able to log on and buy a DVD copy. You also look for it locally on your PBS stations after the Spring Fling ends. Play On Sports and TSSAA Network's partnership to bring you all the exciting action. Log on to TSSAAnetwork.com today. Well, we'll head to the top of the third, and Davidson Academy will have Alex Gibson, Liz Stevens, Kinsey Sadler, and Davidson Academy trying to win their 4th state championship. They won last in 2009. This is their 11th tournament appearance. So they've got some experience, Karen, and really experience, and then you add a little bit of extra motivation for the cause that they're playing for today, and you really know that they're motivated to make something happen positively for their squad.
That is correct. Both teams between them have 14 state appearances. That's hard to imagine that 14 times these two teams have been here. So these two teams are very dominant in the 1A division, and the coaches the coaching staff has been tremendous, and Coach Dunn is from Union, so he has some college experience. Coach Sweeney's been at Davidson. Actually, she took my spot when I was in Davidson, so she's been there for quite a while and has done a tremendous job. Last appearance was last year and has won 3 state championships.
Well, as Alex Gibson, with the first 2 pitches, just tries to slap it from the left side down the third base side, she fouls them both off. The count now 0-2. The center fielder stepping in from the left side.
Infield is short, playing their slap defense coverage.
And she slaps it down to short, picked up there by Hall, and Lauren Hall guns her out at first base. That's a 6-3 force out to start the top of the third.
That's a little bit different than baseball, where the defense coverage, slap defense comes in short, and depending on the coach's strategy, whether the second base will come in or the first baseman will come in and play it tight, because she's got some speed and did a nice job, shortstop, nice job of getting rid of the ball quickly.
So Rydell back on the rubber, now facing the top of the lineup, and Liz Stevens. Stevens swings the first pitch, nubs it out towards second, picked up there by Weiner. She throws across the first for out number 2. Scoring at home, that's a 5-3 force out for the second out of the top of the third. Kinsey Sadler will step in to the box. Last time, Sadler came up with Stevens on second and sacrificed her to third back in the first inning, where Stevens was stranded.
So you'll see where USJ brings their second baseman in. She's about 30 feet away from the batter. Third baseman's about 30 feet away from the batter.
And from that left side, Sadler tries to sort of slug it down third base.
She's trying to make someone move. Shortstop comes in front of the baseline. Outfield's even shorter.
So Sadler with a 1-strike count steps back into the box. She from the left side takes that pitch, and it's wide of the mark. Count now 1-1.
Got some gaps up the middle, but that's a pretty hard place for a slapper to place it.
Rydell deals. Ball is popped up in the air. Will it stay playable? It does stay playable, as third baseman Haley Hall corrals it at the fence for out number 3. So in the top of the second, Davidson Academy, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. Excuse me, top of the third inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the third. And for the USJ Bruins, they'll send Kaylee Weiner, the second baseman, Lauren Rydell, the pitcher, and Haley Hall, the third baseman, to the plate. So it will be 9-1-2 for the Bruins. And the Bruins, in their last inning at the plate, kind of struggled, 3 strikeouts and a walk. So they're looking to get back on the beam, as Hill gave up a single to start the game and then has retired 6 of the next 7 batters. The only thing mixed in there was a walk to Anna Rice.
Hill's had 4 strikeouts, so it's starting where she left off last night. And USJ still has plenty of time to get on the board and tie this game up, or go ahead, and like to see them make some adjustments at the plate and go with that outside pitch.
Well, the infielders gathered at the mound as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Kaylee Wayner steps to the plate. Her first opportunity to bat in this game, one of for 6 in this championship tournament. She'll step in from the right side after looking to get the sign from head coach Brian Dunn. And she waits the offering from Savannah Hill. Curveball strike and a beauty to start the count. Karen, that ball had quite a bit of movement on it.
She does a nice job of moving her pitches. She's got a nice screwball. She hasn't thrown a rise ball much today. She threw it some last night. So she's got a repertoire of pitches that she can keep the batters off balance, and that's what she's doing. She's keeping them off balance and making them chase some of her pitches. When you get ahead in the count, you can do that.
Wayner fouls off the next pitch. It's 0-2.
Both pitchers are doing a nice job of getting ahead in the count. And that's a tremendous aspect for those two pitchers, and I guess that's one of the reasons they're here today.
Strike 3 on the inside corner. First strikeout looking of the day. Strikeout number 5 for Savannah Hill. And that'll bring to the plate her opposite number, Lauren Rydell, the pitcher who singled to start the game. Solid, sharp single up the middle. She was stranded at second.
Lauren's a good hitter, so I'd like to see her get things started for her team. She's got a lot on her shoulders, being their #1 pitcher and being their leadoff batter, but she's obviously been able to handle those responsibilities this year.
Breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Hill pitches and just kind of loses grip on that one as it barely made it outside the pitching circle.
As she laughs when she lets go. I think every pitcher's done that at least once in their career, either let it go backwards or on the arm swing or drop it in the dirt in front of them.
1-1 count, and the pitch on the outside corner. It's 1-2. So Hill and Peak, the battery for Davidson Academy, in rhythm here, trying to find a way to strike out Lauren Rydell. The pitch is hit high and deep to left field. Will it stay fair? It is a foul ball. It had home run distance.
It did have home run. She did a nice job of staying back on that changeup and keeping her hands back. Just a little foul. If you hear some cheering in the background, there's another state championship game going on behind us between Saudi Daisy and Daniel Boone. They're also playing the rubber match today.
As we step back into the box here with Rydell after she gave up a big fly, tried to get it back with a big fly. Both teams have one hit in the contest. No one has committed an error, and it's 1-0 Davidson Academy. Hill back on the rubber. And the pitch. Ball popped straight up into the screen. Count to remain even. So Rydell with one out here in the third inning, trying to jumpstart her team's offense.
Sportsplex has done a nice job of keeping the fields maintained with this hot air and humidity in the air. They have not let the fields get too hard. And
as that time the pitch is a little bit inside. The ball strikes Rydell on the forearm. So she is hit by pitch.
A lot of times they want that field to be hard, or at least if you're offensively, so that ball will take a harder bounce and shoot off the ground a little bit sharper. But Sportsplex has done a nice job of watering the fields and keeping them soft. And
well, if you're an infielder, you definitely you don't want that concrete atmosphere out there and having that ball come off the bat, because it can get on you in a heartbeat, especially when you're maybe at most 60 feet from the batter.
And sometimes 30 feet, like the hot corners, as I would say, are at.
Haley Hall, the third baseman for USJ, comes to the plate. One out, and she takes the first pitch and pulls it foul down the left field line. It's 0-1.
USJ is beginning now to put the bat on the ball a little bit better. It just needs to let it get a little bit deeper to the catcher.
Inning started with Kaylee Wayner striking out looking. Lauren Rydell was hit by a pitch, and Haley Hall stands in and takes the next pitch from Savannah Hill, low and outside. It's 1-1. So as we mentioned, one hit for USJ. That was Lauren Rydell, the first batter of the game. This ball hit high in the air to left field. It's going to twist and turn foul. Another ball with home run distance. But Hall, top hand, got a little too far out in front, and she pulls it foul. It's 1-2.
That's two foul balls that have been over the fence. If it was just a little bit over, this game would be a different story.
And I'll make a correction on the number of hits. Actually, Davidson Academy has 2 hits. Liz Stevens led off the game with a double, and then Izzy Gray had a home run, and that is our only run of the game to this point. So 2 hits for Davidson Academy, 1 hit for USJ at this point. And that pitch, low and away, evens the count at 2-2.
What I like about both of these teams, Dwayne, is that even though they both have powerful pitchers and dominant pitchers, a lot of times the defense goes to sleep behind a powerful pitcher because they don't have to do as much work. Both of these teams has proven this week that they can also play defense behind their pitchers when they do have a team that is putting the ball in play. So that's the reason I think both of these teams are at the championship level, is that they not only have a great pitcher, but they have a good defense behind them as well.
Count once again full. Savannah Hill working to Haley Hall. That pitch is going to be wide of the mark. Ball 4. Second base on balls given up by Hill today. That'll push Rydell to second as Hall trots down to first. And with 1 out here in the 3rd inning, USJ with its best scoring threat.
And have the meat of their lineup up, the number 3 batter Glover. So this is their time to tie this ball game up, get a base hit, get one off, get one back.
We'll have a little meeting at the mound here. Try to just break the rhythm a little bit, calm everybody down. And as a coach, what are you telling your pitcher in this situation?
Well, right now we're just trying to keep it light and keep her relaxed. You don't want to go out there and chew on her or anything of that nature. You just want to keep her relaxed, try to break the momentum and work on some mechanics. Just mention some keywords that you've had with that player all year to help her refocus a little bit and just keep everybody on the same page, know what the situation is, that we have runners at first and second, 1 out, where we're going to go with the ball, and just keep everybody refocused and get back in the swing of things, and we're okay.
Stacy Swinney heads back to the dugout, and the Davidson Academy players all head back to the positions. And Allie Glover steps to the plate. Glover struck out swinging back in the 1st. Swings at the first offering from Hill, takes a big cut and misses. It's 0-1.
There was one opportunity. We had bases loaded when I was a coach at college, and it was a huge game, full count on the batter. I called time, walked out, and everybody said, "What'd you say to her?" I said, "I just told her a joke." And kept it low-keyed, and she struck her out. Not that joke made a difference, but hopefully it helped her keep her calm because she was going to get tight.
Well, Hill's gotten 2 quick strikes on Glover, both swinging it with pitches away from the Bruin catcher. Here's the line of the pitch. 0-2, ball wide of the mark. 1-2.
Seems like Hill may break, but she doesn't break very often. When she lets the runner on, seems like she does get refocused and bears down on the next batter. And having 2 strikes on this one, she's doing it again.
1-2 count. Runners at first and second. Davidson Academy on top of USJ, 1-0. Ball swung, hit into the gap in left center field. It's a bounce over double, and that'll score 1 run and tie this contest. Big hit by Allie Glover. She drives the ball into the left center field gap, one hop over the fence.
Huge hit right there. Nice job of Glover coming up, and that's the reason she's in that 3-hole. Is usually when you're in the third slot, you're there to drive the runners when they're in scoring position. You're the best contact hitter. It was in the gap. I'm not so sure if it hadn't went over, it would have been more beneficial for me had it stayed in the park, because I think the other runner would have scored as well. And now with the bounce over, she had to hold at third. But that was a nice hit. Tie this game up. Now it's a 0-0 game again, as we would say.
We're back to even here in the bottom of the third. The inning began with a strikeout by Weiner. Lauren Rydell was hit by pitch. Haley Hall walked, and Allie Glover with a one-out run-scoring double. And that brings Logan Hall, the shortstop, to the plate. She's going to try to bunt it. Dives right in front of the plate.
Nice.
And just, you don't see that very often, Karen. That ball literally went 1.5 to 2 feet in front of the plate. Hall's going to get a base hit out of that because the catcher, Peak, decided not to chance throwing to first to allow a run to come home.
That was a good decision. It was a very, very tough play on the catcher. Hall did a nice job of laying that bunt down and hit that dirt and just stuck there, and her job was to make someone move 3 or 4 feet, and she made that catcher move. And that was a good decision not to throw to first.
Pickens steps in, swings at the first offering from Hill. It's 0-1. So a potential big inning in the works for USJ. They have bases loaded, 1 out. And the number 5 hitter Pickens at the plate. And she takes the second offering from Hill. That one's a strike. It's 0-2.
USJ's putting a lot of pressure on their defense now, so they're putting a lot of pressure on Davidson's defense. See how Davidson responds, and USJ's doing their job with the bats.
Swung on ball, line drive down the third baseline. It's going to score at least 1, and that's all it will score, as the left fielder Sadler in perfect position to take that line drive, a one-hopper, and get it back in. But it pushes Haley Hall across for the second run of the inning. Glover moves to third, Hall to second, and Kristen Pickens with a run-scoring single has put her team on top 2-1.
Dwayne, they've done a nice job of laying off that curveball, and Samantha's not getting that pitch across the plate anymore, so she's had to come in on them. And as she's coming in, USJ's waiting on it and pounding it out to that left side of the field. So they're just taking one batter at a time, putting it in play and scoring. Bases loaded, 1 out. They're in good position right now.
So 3 hits, 2 runs in the inning to this point for the Bruins of the University School of Jackson. Throw in a walk and a hit by pitch. And you're looking at a potentially large inning for USJ. Katie Exum takes the first offering from Savannah Hill. That ball catches the outside corner for a strike. Exum struck out back in the second inning. She was one of 3 strikeout victims in that inning for USJ. Next offering pops up, hits the screen, falls into play, but does catch the screen.
As a catcher, you wish that screen wasn't there, but the fans love it.
Because that one was straight up the chute. It most likely would have stayed in play and not gone over the backstop. 0-2 count to Exum. Bases still full of Bruins. That ball's going to be on the outside corner, strike 3. Exum has struck out in her 2 at-bats, 1 swinging and now looking.
And that has been Samantha's go-to pitch right there. She's done a nice job hitting that outside corner. As long as she can throw strikes there.
And that'll bring Anna Rice to the plate. Anna walked in her last plate appearance and was stranded at first.
Anna's the designated player, and that's what she's in there for, is to bat. So let her do her job right here. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Rice takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike, and it looks like Hill, Karen, has kind of found the outside corner once again.
She has. As long as she keeps it out there, that will be her strength. And USJ will have to make an adjustment. The ones that they're hitting are the ones that she's bringing in.
That ball's going to be on the outside corner as well. 0-2. The 0-2 offering wide of the mark, 1-2.
Tried to nibble a little bit further out this time. And that was a nice miss by Hill.
She could try to get Rice to go fishing there. She would not. She steps back into the box. It's 1-2. Bases loaded. 2 runs in for USJ here in the bottom of the third. That ball even just catches the outside corner. Struck out looking did Anna Rice. And 3 strikeouts in the inning for Savannah Hill, but sandwiched in between is 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 runners left on base. And we'll step aside, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more right after these messages from Play On Sports on the TSSAA network. Get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program and participate in the TSSAA network, go to TSSAAnetwork.com/SBP.
We're headed to the top of the 4th inning. Big bottom of the 3rd for the USJ Lady Bruins as they score 2 runs on 3 hits. And they are able to take a 2-1 lead here in the 4th inning. As we head to it, Davidson Academy will send to the plate Savannah Peak, Darby Raines, and Ashton Gassaway.
University School did a nice job. They got hit. Rydell got hit by the pitcher Hill, and then Hill walked the batter. So when you put 2 on, you're going to be in trouble, and USJ made her pay for that with Glover's double. We'll see how Davidson Academy responds this inning.
So stepping to the plate will be Savannah Peak. Peak flew out in her only plate appearance today. She takes the first offering from Rydell for a strike.
Rydell learned from her time at bat that the umpire is giving that outside corner, so she's placing it out there as well.
Peak steps back in. That ball just low and outside, evens the count at 1-1. Davidson Academy trying to come back even here as Peak takes the ball inside. 2-1. Davidson Academy run came on the home run by Izzy Gray back in the 2nd inning. 1 other hit by Liz Stevens, so 1 run on 2 hits for Davidson Academy. They've not been able to manage much against Rydell.
No, they need to get some runners on and play the short ball, move them in scoring position, and hopefully have that timely hit and get back into an even ball game with USJ.
Long look in now by Peak. She steps out. Actually, the long look in by Rydell forces Peak to step out. Ball's going to be hit off the end of the bat, up the middle, base hit. Good start to the 4th for the Bears of Davidson Academy. Solid single up the middle by Savannah Peak.
I've been impressed with Peak this week. She's come through in several positions, whether it be in runners on base and her scoring them or being the leadoff and getting on. She's had a nice tournament this week.
That'll bring to the plate Darby Raines. Raines popped out to third back in the first to end the inning.
And Rambert is now the courtesy runner, it looks like, at first base.
So Raines, the second baseman, steps in. She's going to square to bunt. She gets a bunt down the third base line, but it's going to go foul. An aggressive move there by the courtesy runner all the way around second because she noticed there was no one covering the third base bag.
And that's a great observation of the players to be aggressive and try to take that extra base if they're not looking and no one's covering.
Raines in the box, tries the bunt again, fouls it off again.
I'd like to see Raines get that hip squared around more to the pitcher. She's not getting around quick enough and getting caught in what I call that no man's land. I'd like to see that bat head get through the zone and square up a little bit sooner.
0-2 counter to Raines with a runner on first. Peak single to start the inning. Takes the pitch high and tight. The count now 1-2. Swung on ball, fouled off at the plate. Raines just trying to stay alive. As that pitch well in on the hands, but she took no chances.
Can't take a chance. You don't want to put it in the umpire's hands or whether he calls a strike. So she didn't like it, fouled it off. Has another opportunity at bat.
1-2 count for Raines. Runner at first, nobody out here. Top of the fourth, and Raines says, Rydell, you've taken too long. I'm going to step out. Pitch. Ball low and outside. Count even at 2. That was a chance, Karen, because the outside corner has been called pretty consistently today, and that was a real chance taken by Raines.
Right. Must have been just a little bit low because it looked like it hit the corner width-wise.
Yeah, off-speed pitch gets Raines swinging for the first out of the fourth. As the Bears will send Ashton Gassaway, the right fielder, to the plate. She grounded out to short in her first plate appearance to start the second. Rydell looks in to Glover. Little slug bunt there by Gassaway, and the catcher, Glover, can't make the play. Runner's going to come all the way around to third and be thrown out there. I believe if the runner had gotten her feet in, Karen, she would have been safe, but she missed the bag with her feet.
Yeah, she tried a little fadeaway, a slide by, and just try to grab it with her hands. She was trying to avoid the tag. That was a nice job of trying to put the pressure on the defense. At this caliber play, you've got to take chances, and they did take that chance. No one was covering or getting back quickly for third, but they did make it back in time, and USJ did a nice job of getting her out at third base.
So that'll be a 2-3 force out. A single for Gassaway because there was no way they were going to throw her out at first. And then you may classify that as a caught stealing for the force out. So 2 outs now, runner at first for Davidson Academy. And Izzy Gray, one at bat, one hit, one run.
One run.
As she went deep to left field in her only plate appearance, and she takes the first pitch for the strike.
And they need Gray to come through for them again right here.
And that ball is going to be on the outside corner for a strike, 0-2.
You can see USJ's body language. They're getting a little bit more exciting, getting a little bit more momentum, and you can see the excitement in their play coming through now.
That ball well off the plate. Gray decides not to offer. It's 1-2. So Rydell trying to work Gray for a strikeout. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. She gets her swinging. And for the Davidson Academy Bears, no runs, 1 hit. No errors and 1 runner left on base. We've finished 3.5, and the USJ Bruins lead the Davidson Academy Bears 2-1 here in the Division II Class A Championship softball game. The Blue Cross Spring Fling here in Murfreesboro. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning, and for the Bruins of USJ, they'll send Samantha Sullivan, Kaylee Weiner, and Lauren Rydell.
Still a good pitcher's duel.
Big inning for the Bruins in the 3rd. As we mentioned, they had 3 hits, scoring 2 runs. They did, however, leave the bases loaded. So at this point in the game, it's 2 runs, 4 hits for the USJ Bruins, and for the Davidson Academy Bears, they have 1 run on 3 hits. So 2 runs, 4 hits for USJ, 1 run, 3 hits for Davidson Academy. So Sullivan will step to the plate. Actually, looks like we may be getting a pinch hitter here. Looks like number 13 is coming to the plate. And that would be Susanna
Voitas.
Voitas, who has played in the previous 2 games. Didn't start, but she will step in for Sullivan. So Susanna Voitas.
Voitas is a senior. She's been in this situation before, so I'm sure Coach Dunn is putting her in because he has a lot of faith in her experience here, being the leadoff batter.
So our first substitution of the game from a hitting standpoint. And Wotas will step in from the right side. She takes the pitch from Hill in close for a ball. It's 1-0. Wotas struggled in this tournament. She's 0 for 10 coming into this at-bat. Swung on and missed. That ball wide of the mark. Wotas offers. Wotas swings and misses. Actually didn't swing and miss. She swings, fouls it straight back. Ball was coming straight back. If there had been no screen there, Karen, it would have come right back to us.
Come back to us.
Somehow I managed to say that there was no contact.
we were ducking.
Yeah, maybe just
we
a
forgot
little
about
bit.
the
Maybe
screen.
just a little bit. 1-2 count. Fouled straight back once again.
Keep battling. She's doing a nice job of battling Hill. Voitas is staying in there.
Yeah. Votas making Hill work. And the pitch, that ball just off the outside corner, evens the count at 2-2. And the pitch, Wotas swings and misses.
That's that outside corner again.
8th strikeout of the day for Davidson Academy's Savannah Hill.
She had 14 last night against them, so she's well on her mark and pace to reach that number again.
Kaylee Weiner steps in to the box. Weiner takes the first pitch on the outside corner, breaking ball for the strike. Swung on, fouled straight back into the screen. It's 0-2. Weiner struck out looking to start the big 3rd inning for the Bruins. She's once again in an 0-2 hole. This time she offers at the pitch, gets the bat on the ball, fouls it back. It's 0-2.
He's trying to go to the opposite field with that curveball.
One out here, bottom of the fourth. USJ leads 2-1. Breaking ball right in the heart of the plate. Struck out looking for the second time is Kaylee Weiner. 2 outs here, bottom of the fourth, both courtesy of strikeouts. Savannah Hill now will face her opposite number, Lauren Rydell. The pitcher has singled and was stranded at second back in the first. She was hit by a pitch and scored in the third.
So she started both innings, both times she's been up. So now would be a good time for her to get things rolling again. She's been on twice, so she's doing her job at the plate.
She swings at the first pitch, low and away, and fouls it down the first base line.
And that's what you want.
0-1 the count.
Excuse me, Dwayne. That's what you want is in a leadoff position, is someone who's always going to get on. That's what Lauren has done tonight.
Swung on, fouled off again toward the first base dugout. 0-2. Rydell stands back in. Hill pitches, swung on and missed. She strikes out the side to end the inning. So for the USJ Bruins, no runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We have completed 4 innings. We will head to the top of the 5th with USJ leading 2-1, and for the Davidson Academy Bears, it'll be Shannon Rowe, Holly Hockaday, and Alex Gibson. 7, 8, and 9 coming to the plate for the Bears.
You know, we make this game sometimes very difficult when really it's just a simple game. You have 21 outs, and what are you going to do with it? And as a coach, I like to tell our teams that you try to win half innings. You have 14 half innings, and if you win more half innings than the other team does, you're going to be successful. So both team has 9 outs. They have very few times left to make something happen. So what are you going to do with your half innings that remain? And the team that does that the best will come out victorious today.
As you see the score there, 2-1 as we head to the top of the 5th. As Shannon Rowe will come to the plate. Rowe grounded out to second, back in the second, and her only plate appearance today. As we've talked about, Rowe, one of the hotter hitters in this tournament. She was 5 for 12 coming into this contest. The only hitter for Davidson Academy that was hotter than Rowe was Kenzie Sadler, who was 7 for 12 coming in, and Sadler's 0 for 2 today. Rowe now 0 for 1, and she'll have to try to correct that as we start the 5th.
Need to have Rowe on the base and get their leadoff on. Defensively, USJ wants to keep the leadoff off, obviously, and Davidson wants to get that leadoff on.
Rydell ready to offer. Swung on, fouled off down the third base line by Rowe. Is that ball a little bit up and in on her hand?
A good strong backside. Don't like to see that leg flying around. Want to be balanced.
Rydell works. Ball fouled straight back over the screen. 0-2.
Nice job of Lauren Rydell getting ahead in the count again.
At that time, Glover wanted an opportunity to make a play on that ball, but the screen that attaches to the backstop catches it, keeps her from making the play. Rydell. That was a little high. off the catcher's glove, off the glove of Glover.
She was trying to throw a change up there and reached a little high for it instead of out.
Rowe trying to remain hot, get her team's offense jump started. They trail by a run here in the top of the fifth. That ball just off the outside corner. It's 2-2. USJ exhorting their team to play defense. Ball on the ground by Rowe to shortstop. And that is a 6-3 force out as Hall scoops it and fires it across the diamond for the first out.
Nice job of Hall because she was playing very deep, trying to keep her range, and she had a long throw to make and came through for her and got the out.
That'll bring Holly Hockaday to the plate. Hockaday grounded out to second, back in the second. She steps in from the right side, slightly open stance, off-speed pitch to start the at-bat. Beautiful one by Rydell for a strike. As a hitter, that's just got to mess your rhythm up, to have that off-speed to start the at-bat when you're juiced and you're ready to go.
It does, and a lot of times on the first pitch, that's usually not the best pitch to hit for a batter because they tend to be out in front. So we try to tell our batters, maybe lay back on that changeup and first pitch, unless you're a great changeup hitter, but a lot of players aren't. And we try to lay off that, but it's so difficult because that pitch is looking prettier and prettier and slower coming in there.
1-1 count. That one is a bit high, 2-1.
Sometimes those changeups just like a watermelon coming in there. We'd fall out on our front foot trying to get it.
Hockaday looks out at Rydell, takes that one on the inside corner for a strike to even the count, 2-2. Count even at 2. Batter steps out as Hockaday thought Rydell took a little too long.
Davidson's been consistent on that. If they think she's taking long, they will make her stop and pause and step back out, get time, and then go back at it.
2-2 count. Rydell.
I'd say they're going to do it again.
Once again, takes too long for Hockaday's liking, and Hockaday's going to step out. You hear the crowd kind of, one side of the crowd getting on Hockaday, the other side of the crowd's exhorting her on. Rydell's pitch. Hockaday swings and misses. That was off speed of her off speed.
That was off speed of off speed. You got that right.
As Hockaday goes down swinging for the second out here in the top of the fifth.
I like those. I wish Rydell would use that a little bit more often. Her off speed's been more effective here the last couple innings.
Center fielder Alex Gibson steps in from the left side. She takes that one a little close to her hands, and it's ball.
There's our
Ball
slap
one
defense.
to Gibson.
Slap defense coverage again.
And she slaps it out toward left field. There's Pickens, who's underneath it, and makes the play. So a fly out to left field to end the top of the fifth, and for Davidson Academy. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We've completed 4.5. USJ 2, Davidson Academy 1. So as we head to the bottom of the fifth, Haley Hall, Allie Glover, and Logan Hall will come to the plate for the Bruins of USJ.
Same crew who got it going earlier in the game, and now would be a good time. It's still anybody's game, 2-1 ball game. Still a lot of time left. So it'd be nice if USJ got a rally going again in the fifth.
So Hall will come to the plate to face Savannah Hill. Hill to this point has only given up 7 runs, or coming into this game had only given up 7 runs in the entire tournament. She gave up 2 back in the 3rd inning. And really what undid her back in the 3rd, Karen, was the fact that she hit a batter, then walked a batter, and then gave up a double and 2 singles.
Unfortunately, that will tend to happen if you walk early up on the leadoff or with 1 out sometimes, or a lot of times that batter will come around and score on you. So putting 2 freebies on kind of hurt them that inning. And the first time they played each other this week, she had also given up 3 runs. So USJ is capable of hitting Hill.
Well, Savannah Hill will come to the rubber and face, as we mentioned, Haley Hall, the 3rd baseman, who has sacrificed and walked today. Takes the first pitch wide of the mark for a ball. As we mentioned, USJ on the day, 4 hits, scoring 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 run for Davidson Academy. So 2 runs, 4 hits for USJ, 1 run, 3 hits for Davidson Academy to this point.
That outside pitch is giving USJ fits.
It's a 1-1 count. Squares to bunt, bunts it straight back, and the catcher, Peak, has an opportunity to make the play. Just can't quite get her glove on it.
I like the idea by Hall, though, putting it in play, laying it down, making the defense play. She bunted earlier in the game and knows she can. She's trying to make something happen.
So 1-2 count here to Hall. Hill arm swings through, check swing by Hall. She does not go. It's 2-1. Hill back to the rubber. Winds and pitches. Swung on and missed by Hall. She goes down on strike.
Danger hitter up at the plate with Glover. Had a double the last time. Bounced over the fence.
The 11th strikeout of the day by Savannah Hill.
That gives her a total of 62 strikeouts for the tournament this week. That's a phenomenal number.
Swung on by Glover. As Karen mentioned, she doubled in her last at bat, was stranded at 3rd. But her double pushed across the tying run. And then the single by Hall pushed across the go-ahead run. 0-1 pitch. A little bit wide of the mark. 1-1. Glover struck out back in the 1st, swinging. And then the aforementioned double in the 3rd. Swings and misses at a ball off the plate outside. It's 1-2. Hill taking her time as we get deeper into this game. That ball a little bit low, but on the outside corner, just caught at the knees for a strike, and that'll be strikeout number 12 for Hill. And the second out of the bottom of the 5th.
That's a big
for
out for
USJ.
Davidson. Big out for Davidson right there. Good stick in Glover. And to get her swinging, that's a huge out for him.
That'll bring Logan Hall, the shortstop, to the plate. As we mentioned, she had an RBI single back in the 3rd. That ball wide of the mark to Hall. Flew out back in the 1st. Hall, a senior infielder, plays shortstop. Takes that ball down the middle at the knees for a strike. It's 1-2. Excuse me, 0-2. that ball wide of the mark. Nope. Calls it a strike as well. A little confused by the signals there, so that makes it a 1-2 count. So see if we get the count straight here. 1-2 to Logan Hall. She swings and misses. Strikeout number 13 for Savannah Hill ends the bottom of the fifth for USJ. At the end of 5 innings, it's 2-1 USJ over Davidson. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. You're watching TSSAA Spring Fling Softball Championship action on the TSSAA Network. Hey, guys, are we supposed to be getting the truck feed? We're headed to the top of the 6th inning. USJ leads Davidson Academy 2-1. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for USJ. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for Davidson Academy. And they'll send to the plate Liz Stevens, the shortstop, the top of the lineup.
Need to get something going here. They've got 6 outs remaining, and Hill's done her part on the mound of striking out 13, and so they need to get something rallying behind her with the bats here.
So Rydell's second offering misses outside. It's now 1-1. So Stevens singled and was stranded at third to start the game, grounded out to second back in the third. Off-speed pitch finds the outside corner.
Your Coach Sweeney, you're glad your lead-up's off at the plate.
Pushes the count to 1-2. Rydell looking for her 4th strikeout of the day if she can get it right here. And Stevens takes the ball high to even the count at 2. So Stevens, the shortstop, steps back in, near the plate, up in the box. 1-2 pitch. She fouls it off back to the fence. Keeps the count at 2-2, I should say.
Sun might be coming into play on that right side. You see a lot of the right fielder keeps putting her glove up over her eyes, shading that sun, so that may come into play later on in some balls that are hit to that right side.
Liz Stevens, the senior shortstop, batting leadoff, trying to jumpstart her team's offense. They trail by 1 here in the top of the 6th inning. Swung on, fouled off the hands down the third baseline, almost into the USJ dugout.
Rydell, nice job of jamming Stevens.
As we get deeper into the game, both teams taking their time on the mound and at the plate. Rydell's pitch, Stevens just offers at it, pushes it down the first baseline, and McFarland, the first baseman, even though the ball was in foul territory, looked like she might have a play on the ball.
She came awful close to catching that ball in foul territory, but she did a nice job of trying to make an out for her team there. would have been a huge out for us as well.
State championship on the line, a one-run game here in the top of the sixth. Glad you could join us in Murfreesboro on the TSSAA network.
See a lot of hand wiping. See that sweat's now beginning to get all over their hands. And bat's wet and ball's wet.
Strike three called, delayed call by the home plate umpire, but Liz Stevens knew what was coming. She strikes out looking. Strikeout number 4 of the afternoon for Hill.
And a big strikeout for Rydell. Big strikeout for Rydell. Getting that leadoff batter out. Slapper at the plate.
Sadler steps in, now steps out of the box. Everybody, as the sun gets more directly overhead, everyone feeling the heat a little bit. As we mentioned, Kenzie Sadler, the hottest hitter for Davidson Academy coming into this ball game, 7 for 12. Today she's 0 for 2 with this, actually 0 for 1, a sacrifice bunt and a fly out as she fouls the first pitch off.
She just puts so much pressure on the defense. She can lay it down, she can pop it out in the outfield. The defense is wondering what she's going to do because she's got several aspects of her game that she can put into play.
Arm swing by Rydell. Slap between short and third. Base hit. Even though the infielders were drawn in, Sadler with pinpoint accuracy finds the hole for a single.
Definitely found the hole, and she's got some wheels to go along with it. So I'm sure Coach Swinney is very excited that she has some wheels at first base.
That'll bring Savannah Peak, the catcher, to the plate. Peak flew out back in the first, singled in the fourth, and then the courtesy runner for her was caught stealing, trying to go from first to third on the bunt single by Gasaway.
Davidson's going to get back in it and tie it up. This will be the time to do it with the meat of their lineup coming up. Speed on first.
1 out, top of the sixth. 2-1 USJ. That one's wide of the mark. Now 2-0. So Peak showing some patience at the plate. She had a 2-pitch at bat before flying out in the first, a 4-pitch at bat before singling in the fourth.
Davidson's made Rydell throw some pitches. She's thrown a lot of pitches in the last 2 games that they've played. They make her go deep into the count on most batters, so she's thrown a lot of pitches to these Davidson Academy batters.
Well, now Rydell in danger, I should say, of issuing her first walk of the day. It's a 3-0 count to Peak.
Peak's a good hitter, but I'm sure Rydell does not want to put her on the base by a walk.
Peak taking all the way as the batting practice speed pitch comes right down the heart of the plate. Peak never even offered at it. 3-1 now the count. That ball inside for ball 4. Peak will trot down to first, courtesy of the first base on balls given up by Rydell. And Kenzie Sadler will move to second. That ball got away from the catcher back to the backstop, and Sadler wasted no time to get to second and actually made a little bit of a turn there.
Yeah, she's got some wheels, so if you give her an opportunity or even an inch, she's going to advance to the next base. She's always looking to advance to the next base, and with her speed, she most definitely can. And the catcher did a nice job of hustling back, Glover getting the ball and holding her at second base.
Well, that's Darby Raines getting some instructions from Coach Sweeney as she steps into the box. Raines flew out back in the first, struck out swinging in the fourth. Raines has had 3 runs driven in this tournament. She's got a chance to do it here again. Takes the first pitch for a strike on the inside corner.
She has batted in 3 runs, and now would be huge for her to do it again. She's used to being in this spot and the cleanup spot, and that's her job, is to score runners when they get in scoring position.
Well, let's see. We've got Coach Sweeney making some adjustment here.
Like maybe a pinch runner, no?
She was pointing down toward the first base line.
Yes,
and
pinch runner.
Yeah, I was going to say a courtesy runner. So, and that's 26, it appears, coming in for Davidson Academy. That'll be Michaela Rembert.
Coming in, courtesy runner. Same one that came in earlier.
So Raines will step back in with a 1-strike count. Runners on first and second. That ball's wide of the mark, 1-2.
I like that aspect of softball, that you can put a courtesy runner in for your pitcher and catcher without using a sub or without counting as a substitution.
1-1 count. Runners on first and second. One out here, top of the sixth for Davidson Academy against USJ.
Rodell wanted that call.
Wanted that call, did not get it. Now the count is 2-1. Davidson Academy looking for an opportunity to tie this thing up. They took the lead early, and then USJ scored 2 runs back in the third to erase that lead. Ball's going to be hit off the thumbs in the air, foul ground on the third base side, and Haley Hall will corral it there. So for the second time today, Darby Raines has popped out to third. This time the second out in the sixth, and that'll bring Ashton Gassaway to the plate. Gassaway has grounded out to short and had that bunt single back in the fourth that resulted in a runner being caught trying to go first to third.
That was a huge out for University, getting that second out and your cleanup batter up and runners in scoring position, and it could have gone either way and popped up to third. So that was a huge out for University to come through for us.
Well, Gassaway steps in and then asks for time and backs out. So, again, as we get deeper in this game, things slowing down just a little bit. Gassaway swings, hits the ball in the air down the left field line. It is dropped by the left fielder, Pickens. 2 runs are going to score as the double to left field. We'll have to see what that is. It may be, I don't know if they'll call that a 2-base error or a single and an error. I couldn't quite tell as it got behind the dugout there, Karen. I don't know whether she slid and the ball hit the ground and then hit her, or if it hit her glove first and then she dropped it.
Yeah, we're blocked out and couldn't see for the top of the dugout, but it looked like she was going down on her knees, and you're correct. We couldn't tell if she put a glove on it or it hit the ground, but she made a great effort to catch that ball. Didn't quite make it.
Well, the official scorer has given her a 2-out, 2-run double. So a double to left field by Gassaway, scores 2 runs, and it puts Davidson Academy back on top 3-2 here in the top of the 6th inning.
Gassaway's come through twice for him. She laid down a bunt earlier to move a runner in scoring position, come through for a double. That's what big games are about, Dwayne, having those hitters step in and executing.
As Izzy Gray now with a 1-1 count. Gray homered back in the second, struck out in the fourth, and she's got a chance to drive in another run here with 2 outs. Takes that pitch on the outside corner, 1-2. So Gassaway with a big 2-out, 2-run double as the left fielder Pickens made a diving attempt, couldn't come up with the ball. With runners running with 2 outs, they've scored all the way from first and second. This pitch to Gray is wide of the mark. 2-2.
This game is typical between Davidson and University. They've played 3 times, and all 3 games have been close.
Riddle fires, swung on and missed by Gray to end the inning. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Riddle, but 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, and there was 1 runner left on base. We've finished 5.5 innings. It's 3-2, Davidson Academy over USJ. The Bears lead the Bruins as we head to the bottom of the 6th. And in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be Pickens, Exum, and Rice. So Pickens will have an opportunity right away, Karen, to try to atone for not being able to make that play. And again, we apologize for those of you who are watching on television. We were blocked out by the third base dugout, so we couldn't tell right away whether she made the catch or not. As The official score gave us the indication she made a diving attempt, was unable to come up with the ball. That allowed Sadler and Peak to score. Sadler scored from second. Peak scored from first to give Davidson Academy this one-run lead as we head to the bottom of the sixth.
But what I like about Pickens is she would have had a single either way, so she made a diving effort to take that and get an out away from her, and it wasn't because of a lack of effort. She got down and got dirty, and that's what the championship game is all about, is trying to make that extra effort, and she tried, just didn't quite get there. But it wasn't because of lack of effort, so I like to see someone getting down and diving after a ball.
So Davidson Academy with their first lead since the third inning, as they scored in the second to take a 1-0 lead. USJ came back with 2 runs in the third and held the lead until the top of the sixth, when 2 runs were scored by Davidson Academy. So Pickens, Exum, and Rice to start the sixth for the Bruins.
And USJ is not down, but by 1, so they shouldn't be panicked at this point in time. They still have 6 outs to work with. Plenty of time left to get a run across the board to tie it up. So their goal right now is just to go for the tie, and then when they get the tie, start working on the lead again.
Well, Savannah Hill with 13 strikeouts on the day would like nothing more than to finish with 19. If she does that, they get a state championship.
Yes, they will.
So she's got to face the meat of the order, starting with Pickens, the left fielder. Pickens singled in her last at bat, was stranded there at first after striking out, back in the second. She takes the first pitch wide of the mark for a ball. 0-1, excuse me, 1-0. Now 1-1 as she swings and misses at a ball out of the zone.
Needs to be a little patience here with the bat. Swinging good pitches.
Off-speed pitch low on the outside corner. It's 1-2.
Coach Dunn yelling instructions, encouragement to her batter.
2 strikes on the batter. Pickens now just wants to get one in play. Fouls it straight back off the fence post and almost back into the field of play. Count remains 1-2.
You almost have to expect Hill to throw that outside corner again. She's been wearing it out today, and they've struggled with it. She's ahead in the count, wants to close the door right here, so let's see if she goes back to that pitch.
1-2 pitch, ball a little bit low and away, but Pickens offers at it, gets just the end of the bat on it to foul it off and stay alive. That ball is just a little bit low and outside. The Davidson Academy crowd wanted to call.
Hill's got a nice drop curve. It drops down and curves out. That's a hard pitch to hit.
2-2 count to the Bruin left fielder. She puts this ball in play, squibs off the end of the bat out to second base where it's picked up by Rain. She makes the quick flip over to the first baseman row. That's a 4-3 put out of Pickens to start the bottom of the sixth for USJ. They'll send to the plate Katie Exum, the right fielder. She has struck out swinging and struck out looking. Exum now 0 for 11 in this state championship tournament. She would love to get her first hit right here. Swings at the first pitch.
She wouldn't mind striking out 11 as long as she got a base hit right here, would she?
Nope. That is for sure.
And what a time to do it, right here.
Exum crowds the plate. Offers at a ball off the plate. And I think Hill knows that Exum is pressing a little bit because she just keeps going a little further and a little further outside.
Yep, she's going to keep putting it out there as long as they keep chasing it and see if they bite.
Hill's pitch. Misses the outside corner.
Catcher was giving that target way out that time.
1-2 count with 2 outs here in the 6th. Swung on and missed. Actually, that's the second for the second out. Strikeout number 14 on the afternoon.
She surpassed or met her total of last night. Hill has a 14. That's the strikeout she had last night, and that brings her total to 65 for the week.
Wow.
4 games.
And Anna Rice will step to the plate. She was a strikeout victim looking back in that big 3rd inning for the Bruins.
A lot of pitchers like to have 100 strikeouts in a season. Hill has almost 100 strikeouts in a week.
And first pitch to Rice is a ball on the outside corner that catches the plate for a strike. After struggling in the 3rd, Hill appears to have found her rhythm here late. That pitch fouled off well over the backstop on the 3rd base side. The count now 0-2 to Anna Rice. Rice got on courtesy of a walk in the 2nd before striking out, as we mentioned, in the 3rd. Rice a little bit off the plate. That's going to be on the outside corner. Strikeout number 15 of the afternoon by Savannah Hill of USJ batters. So for USJ, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. We have completed 6, and the score is 3-2 in favor of Davidson Academy.
I'd like to see Davidson Academy keep the pressure on USJ right here. It's not over. It's still have 3 outs to work with if you're USJ, and Davidson needs to keep the pressure on them.
We'll step aside. We'll take a break. Be back with the 7th inning right here from Play On Sports on the TSSAA Network. Welcome back to Murfreesboro, the 2012 Division II Class A Softball Championship presented by Blue Cross. It's the spring fling here in Murfreesboro. We're down to the final inning potentially here for USJ and Davidson Academy as we head to the top of the 7th. It's 3-2 in favor of the Bears over the Bruins. And coming to the plate for Davidson Academy is the first baseman, Shannon Rowe. Rowe takes the first offering from Riddle for a strike.
Rydell would like nothing more than to get this lead off here and not let Davidson have any more opportunity to score any runs.
Rydell, I apologize. First time I've missed that one today. Rydell's second pitch just off the corner of the plate. It's 1-1. Rowe has grounded out to second, grounded out to short, so she's put the ball in play both times. She stepped in the box this afternoon or this morning. 1-1 pitch well inside, and Rowe decides to take a hack at it and fouls it off her thumbs.
Throwing some more balls in. Pitcher hates new balls, so hopefully they're used balls. Most pitchers don't like to have a brand new ball.
A little slick, kind of hard to hang on to.
Yeah.
I like to have them a little roughed up so you can maybe make the
little
ball
better
move
grip,
a little bit more.
A little bit better grip and make that ball jump.
Rowe stands in with a 1-2 count. Rydell rubs the ball on her leg, offers it up to Rowe, who fouls it into the screen.
TSSAA is changing, or the state of Tennessee is changing softballs next year. We're at the K-Master right now, and next year we're going with the Wilson ball, so a different ball next year. It's a little bit wider seams. More like the colleges are playing with.
1-2 count. Rydell offers, Rowe staying tough. Interesting, Karen. That ball gets in on her hands, and she's swinging. She's going to fight that thing off. She didn't want it anywhere near her body.
She doesn't want it near her body, but if she's going to take a cut at that inside pitch, she's got to get it out front and not let it get on her hands so much.
And that's exactly what Coach Stacy Swinney was telling her as she steps back into the box. Here's the pitch. Ball hit in the air. Looks like the shortstop is going to make a play. As she can't quite do it. Lauren Hall has the ball go off her glove.
That's a huge play for USJ right there. Got to have...
And that will be an E6 to start the inning. First error of the contest, as Lauren Hall went out, couldn't quite get her glove on it. And it looks like we're going to have a substitution here for Davidson Academy. It'll be number 20 stepping in. No, Holly Hockaday is scheduled to bat. I apologize, but Coach Stacy Swinney, maybe do we have a courtesy runner once again, or a pinch runner?
That was a huge play right there for Davidson. USJ, the shortstop drop step back, went after the ball. I'd like to see Pickens call her off. That's kind of a lack of communication. Shortstop was really digging and going back on Hall, was trying to get to that ball and went in her glove, but I would have liked to see Pickens call her off and take that away from her.
And we do have a pinch runner. It's Maddie Woodis, number 1, pinch running for Shannon Rowe. Woodis, an 8th grader. Wow. As Holly Hockaday will step in to the box from the right side. She takes the pitch wide from Rydell for a ball. It's 1-0.
You were talking about the 8th graders of Davidson. USJ has several 8th graders. They have 5 8th graders on their squad at a state championship game. That is amazing.
Bunt's going to be laid down, pushed hard down toward third base. The only play for Hall, the third baseman, is to go to first, and that'll push Woodis, the pinch runner, to second. So it'll be a sack, 5-3 by Hockaday.
Good bunt by Hockaday, but I was just impressed with Hall being able to cut that gap off, because that bunt could have easily squished through the hole, and she did a nice job of cutting it off and getting it out at first.
And so Haley Hall makes the play in front of her sister Lauren Hall, and we have one out here in the top of the 7th, and that will bring Alex Gibson, the center fielder, to the plate, and she now has a strike on her after the first offering from Rydell. Gibson has grounded out to short and flown out to left. Checks her swing, takes the ball inside, count even at 1.
Dwayne, it may be coming into play a little bit of experience as far as the upperclassmen. Davidson's got several upperclassmen where USJ only has 2, so we've got a lot of youth playing to get some experienced players, and it may be coming into play later into the game as they feel the pressure.
The slug bunt there by Gibson, and she beats it out as the first baseman, McFarland, forced to play it.
That ball hit the ground and bounced up, and if anyone with speed can pound the ball in the ground and make it pop up like that, they're going to be safe more times than they're out, because that's a very difficult play, because you have to wait for that ball to come back down. And the defense did what they could, but with speed, when you pound it in the ground, it pops up, you're going to be safe.
And actually that was Wayner, the second baseman, who was forced to come in and make the play on the ball, but couldn't turn and make the throw to first base in time. And Coach Brian Dunn calls the timeout, steps out to the mound to kind of calm his team down. As with one out here in the top of the 7th, another scoring threat for the Davidson Academy Bears, as Woodis is now standing on third with one out. Gibson at first, and the top of the lineup, and Liz Stevens. Stevens singled back in the first, grounded out in the third, struck out in the sixth.
And now would be a huge time for Stevens to step up and drive that run in third base, because Davidson's trying to close the door and not allow USJ an opportunity to come back in the bottom of the seventh to have any momentum. So Stevens can help in that aspect.
Well, Davidson Academy had to win 2 in a row to win a state championship. They won the first, and they're looking good here in the second as we go into the 7th inning with a 1-run lead. And they have a scoring threat in the form of Woodis standing at third base. As Stevens takes that first pitch, called strike. The senior shortstop in a big spot here. Infield is in. Stevens takes the next offering. Same spot, same result. Strike 2. So now for Stevens, you got to guard the plate with 2 strikes. Can't really be as selective. Rydell's offering just off the corner.
Some people would pitch to her in this situation. Some people wouldn't pitch to her in this situation and try to put a force at the base and have a play at the plate. First base is open right now, and they've chosen to pitch to her.
Ball 2, wide of the mark. Count now even at 2-2. As Gibson was allowed to take second there. So she now is on second. Woodis on third with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. 2-2 count to Stevens. She takes the ball low and inside. It's full. She takes a look down at Coach Sweeney, grabs a handful of dirt, drops it, and steps back into the box. Rydell's offering, line drive pulled hard into the USJ dugout.
Had a ball ducking. This is Rydell's strength against Stevens' strength right here. Full count, 1 out. It's where you want to be.
The infield drawn in, the ball placed well, should get through. Liz Stevens looks out at Rydell, says, it's taking too long, I want time, and she is granted time. Warren Rydell winds, pitches. Ball's going to be chopped towards second base. No play is made as the second baseman, Wayner, stopped and looked. The runner back to third. And Stevens never quit running.
Never quit running. That's what you have to do as a batter. Put that ball in play. You don't wait for the umpire's decision. You just take off running. And she did a nice job of doing that. And second got caught looking, trying to keep the runner at third, and that's the reason I had said earlier, sometimes people would have pitched to her and other times they wouldn't have pitched to her. Just a different philosophy because of that is they can't afford to let that runner's third score.
So if you can find a way to get 2 outs, no harm, no foul there, but you have the hottest hitter for Davidson Academy in Kinsey Sadler, who's now 7 for 14 in this tournament. She takes the first pitch in on the hands for a ball.
Outfield's in. 1 gets by him. Several runs will be scoring here if she gets 1 through.
Actually, Sadler now 8 for 15, batting right at the 500 mark in this tournament. 1-0 count, takes that one well inside, and Rydell right now having a hard time finding the strike zone. She's only walked 1 batter today.
She doesn't walk many. She makes you put a bat on the ball and makes you earn it. Behind in the count here, but she's a competitor.
2-0 count to Sadler. Batting from the left side. She's going to swing at that, foul it straight back. She had a good offering at it, just got the bottom half of the ball and fouled it straight back. 2-1 count. Davidson Academy on top 3-2 here, top of the 7th, the Division II Class A Championship, the Blue Cross Spring Fling Softball Championships from Murfreesboro. She's going to slap at it, little pop up to shortstop, and that will be out. Number two of the inning.
And a huge one at that. Bases loaded and 2 outs.
She flies out to the shortstop, Hall. So sacrifice bunt by Hockaday for the first out, fly out to short, or pop out to short for the second out. That brings Savannah Peak, the catcher, to the plate. Savannah walked in her last plate appearance, singled back in the 4th, flew out back in the 1st. And now with 2 outs, everyone will be on the move. Off-speed pitch in for a strike, a little bit of a sort of an ephus pitch almost. Is it?
Peak's been a good RBI hitter this week, so we'll see what she can do in this situation with bases loaded.
And 3 runs driven in, actually 4 runs driven in now. Takes that second pitch, same spot for a strike. Both pitches on the outside corner.
Rodell has done a great job this week of getting ahead in the count. She gets 0-2 very easily, or 1-2 very easily.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Long time by Rodell. Here she comes. That ball rises just a little bit high to Peak. 1-2. As we mentioned, Peak actually has 3 runs batted in this tournament. I'd love to find a way to pick up a 4th or maybe even 5th right here. 1-2 pitch, outside corner, strike 3. Looking
huge
strikeout
out right there.
Number 5 of the afternoon for Lauren Rydell, and we will head to the bottom of the 7th inning. After no runs were scored in the top of the 7th, we had no runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and 3 runners left on base.
Don't see Peak looking at too many third strikes go by. It's a compliment to Rydell to keep it on that outside corner there and had her look.
Well, 3 outs remain for a state championship. Davidson Academy has to get them. USJ wants to score before making them, and they'll send Susanna Votas, Kaylee Weiner, and the top of the order, Lauren Rydell, are scheduled to bat here in the bottom of the 7th.
Leadoff runner's huge here. Defense is wanting to keep her off. Offense wants to get her on.
Well, as we mentioned, 3-2 your score here, and as we mentioned earlier in the telecast, you can also pick up a DVD copy of all the Spring Fling Championship coverage. You do so by going to TSSAA and looking for the green Buy It Now button, whether it's softball, baseball, soccer, whichever championship venue and sport you want to watch, you can get it at TSSAA the green Buy It Now button. And even if you just want to listen to Karen and I do a softball game, go ahead and go out and buy one of those DVDs. You'll also be able to find it on your local public television stations across the state in the near future.
Looks like Samantha Sullivan is back in for Votas.
So Sullivan will come back in to lead off the 7th. And Savannah Hill with 15 strikeouts, trying to find a way to get a couple more, maybe even 3. First pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Little nubber back up the middle, base hit as it's right off the thumbs by Savannah Sullivan. And Karen, it was perfectly placed as it went directly over the second base bag.
Perfectly placed. Wasn't anything Davidson could do about that. That was just perfect execution by Sullivan, getting a single. And you can't ask any more out of her right there than to come through in a clutch situation and be a leadoff hitter.
And Kaylee Weiner The second baseman will step in. Wainer struck out looking twice. She's going to put the bunt down. Hill takes the out that is given, throws it to first.
Nice sacrifice bunt. All you're looking for right here is one run, because you got to keep it going, and she executed perfectly to move that runner in scoring position.
And now it's Lauren Rydell, the pitcher and leadoff batter.
And you got to like her there.
Yes, you do. Lauren singled up the middle to start the game. She was hit by a pitch in the third and struck out in the fourth. And she's been really the leader of this team all season long, as she's been dominant at times on the mound. And Coach Brian Dunn's going to have a conversation with her.
She's the glue that keeps it all together. If I was Coach Dunn, I wouldn't want anyone other than Rydell right here at this plate, this particular situation.
Rydell at the plate. Haley Hall, the third baseman, on deck should she reach. Hill's first offering fouled straight back to the screen. It is 0-1. Rydell does not get cheated, does she, Ken? She's up there hacking when she goes.
No, she's going to swing that bat and put them. She's going to make them play defense. She does it. I know she struck out the last time, but that's uncharacteristic of Rydell. She swings that bat.
Hill winds and fires that ball low, as Sullivan takes a big lead off second as that pitch came to the plate. Count now even at 1-1. Ball swung on, hit into right field, base hit. They're going to send the runner. No, they're not. They're going to hold the runner at third, and good thing they did. A strike by Gasaway from right field.
Nice hit. Right in the gap, went with the out pitch to the right side, and the right fielder threw a strike at the plate. Coach Dunn was well on his way to sending her, and he was looking at the same thing that we were seeing. She come up firing, and he held her up. And good decision.
Yeah, Peak would have been waiting with an opportunity to kind of take out the comb her hair before Sullivan could have gotten to the plate. It was that good a throw. Give it a lot of credit there to Gasaway, who made a good throw, but a nice diving attempt by the second baseman. Raines almost comes up with it and keeps it on the infield.
And what about Rydell? There she is coming through again.
2 hits on the day in 3 plate appearances.
That experience of being in 3 championship games is paying off for Rydell.
So 2 singles, one up the middle, one to right field by Rydell. She's at first now here in the top of the 7th. Sullivan, who singled up the middle to start the inning, is now on third with 1 out as Wainer had sacrificed her over. Got to bring Haley Hall to the plate, and now a little strategy session maybe. Do you walk? Well, actually, we've already got Rydell at second base. Actually, a courtesy runner for Rydell at second base, as she went to second on the throw to the plate.
Got 1 out with Hall up.
Let's see, do they put Hall on, or looks like they're going to pitch to her?
Maybe they're going to see if she'll bite.
First pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Hill been living on that outside corner all day long. Karen starts this at bat to Hall with a strike on the inside corner.
This is kind of a tough situation. You would kind of like to put Hall on, but when you look at Glover, hit a double.
That ball's going to be lifted over the third baseman, base hit. This game is now tied, as Haley Hall comes through with a 1-out single to drive home the tying run.
Just hitting that gap in between that infield and the outfield to score that run and tie it up. And you can't say enough about USJ. They never gave up. They've never given in and never have accepted that they're not going to be winning this game. They have put the pressure on.
3 hits in the inning have scored a run. Singles by Sullivan, Rydell, and Hall. Now bring Allie Glover to the plate with 1 out. And she has a chance to send her team back to Jackson with a state championship.
That's right, win and run at third base.
Would be USJ's second state championship in the last 3 years.
For the 7th inning for both teams has been exciting.
Hill, first pitch, swung on and missed, as Hall will trot down to second uncontested. Glover has struck out, doubled, and then struck out. That pitch wide of the mark, 1-1.
Infield's playing tight, so a good sharp hit ball will get through this infield. But they're wanting to cut that plate at the plate off.
Swung on, missed. Glover swings the ball off the plate. It's 1-2.
Glover's wanting to end this game. She's going up swinging. She wants to end the game right here.
Trying to avoid her third strikeout of the day and give her team a state championship. She just gets a piece of it, sends it straight back to the screen. It's 1-2.
Just think of a base hit. Just put a bat on the ball. You don't have to overswing. You're just trying to make contact right here. Just contact and score that run and win the game for you.
Savannah Hill trying to find a way to get an out here. That ball low and outside. 2-2 to Glover. 14 strikeouts on the day by Hill. She's done a fantastic job, but USJ has kept after her, and they have tied the ball game. Here's the pitch, swung on, ball hit down the third base line. Is it fair? It's foul.
A little delayed call there.
And Brian Dunn is arguing with the home plate umpire. The third base umpire emphatically made a foul call.
Home umpire could have seen it because he didn't make a call, but the field umpire was right on top of it and made it immediately.
Well, there was a runner at third base, obviously. That runner, number 32, may have screened the home plate umpire. She was trying to get out of the way. Third baseman Gray was trying to make a diving attempt, so there's a lot of motion with bodies over there. And I'll give the field umpire on the third baseline credit. He was very patient and very emphatic with his call.
Right. And I agree with him. I thought it went behind the third base side on the third base dugout area.
So the count remains 2-2 to Allie Glover. Swung on, miss. Strikeout number 15 of the afternoon by Savannah Hill. And it's a big one. So Glover goes down swinging. And now with 2 outs and runners on second and third, it'll be up to Logan Hall, the shortstop, to see if she can end this game in regulation.
This is pressure-packed right here.
Hall so far today has flown out, singled, and struck out.
And now would be a time for her to put it in play and score this runner at third.
Hall steps in from the right side. Hill's pitch swung on and missed.
I can see her feet stay in there, though. She tends to bail out with that back foot and hit with just arms. She could stay in there with it.
Big plate appearance here by the shortstop, Logan Hall, with a chance to send her team home happy. Swung on, fouled straight back. 0-2. And again, Karen, same thing. That time she got her bat on the ball, but that back foot is dancing back there.
Yeah, she's wanting it so bad, I believe, and those feet are moving. She's been moving throughout this game. Her feet's been moving, so if she could just stay in there and be balanced and have a good, strong backside, then she would be a little bit more successful with putting the bat on the ball.
0-2 the count. Savannah Hill to Hall. Ball on the outside corner, strikeout number 16. We're headed to extra innings. At the end of 7, we are tied at 3. As in the bottom half of the inning, 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 people left on base. And we'll head to the top of the 8th right here from Murfreesboro. This is the Blue Cross Spring Fling Softball Championships presented by Play on Sports on the TSSAA Network. 3 games wasn't enough. We're going to extra innings in game number 3 as these two teams just can't find a way to let go of their grip on a state championship.
And what a turn of events. You got Davidson Academy ahead by 1, 3-2 going in the 7th, and then USJ gets a tie game and winning run at third base. He can't quite get that timely hit, and Davidson holds them. So turn of events for both teams.
As we head to the 8th, a little pop up to the shortstop by Darby Raines to start the inning. 1 pitch, 1 out for Lauren Rydell.
Sometimes in the state championship game or any game, at that fact, you got to have a little luck to go along with it.
Ashton Gassaway will step to the plate. She's grounded out and has 2 hits, a single and a double, a big double back in the 6th to score a couple of runs. Gassaway with that open stance, trying to pull the ball down the left field line. She does, but pulls it wide of the playing surface. It is 0-1. So earlier this tournament, USJ won the first game played between these two teams. Davidson Academy had to come back last night in an elimination game, and they won 3-1. We're all square at 3 in this game. So 3 seems to be the common denominator. USJ won the first game 3-0. Davidson Academy won the second game 3-1, and we're square at 3 here in the 8th inning of game number 3.
And neither team wants to lose the handle of it.
No, they certainly don't. 1-1 count here to Gassaway. She swings and misses. It's now 1-2. Gassaway also made a big play on defense, a strike from right field to the plate to hold a runner at third.
That was a huge play. I'd like to see her keep that front side in when she steps back to that pitcher, or should step back to the pitcher, but she starts with an open stance, and she'll continue that open stance and open it a little wider as the pitch comes in. I'd like to see her step back to the pitcher.
Back when I played baseball, we called that stepping in the bucket.
Yeah.
And I had a bad tendency to do that. 2-2 count.
She's got an open stance, and that's fine.
Gassaway swings. She puts this ball in the air, and shortstop Hall has recorded both putouts this inning. 2 fly balls to the shortstop by Davidson Academy here in the 8th, and it'll bring up Izzy Gray. And Gray got things started today with a loud bang as she went deep to left field for the first run of this ball game back in the 2nd.
But then Rydell's held her at bay the next 2 at bats. She struck out the last 2 times at bat. Rydell says, I gave her that pitch, but I won't give her another one like it.
And she takes the first pitch of her 4th at bat of the day for a strike. Swung on and missed, as I think Gray realized that ball was beyond her reach. She might have been swinging a 40-inch bat, not been able to get
That's right.
get the bat on that one.
Both pitchers are wearing that outside corner out, and they're doing a good job of taking what the umpire's given them.
Gray fouls this pitch off into the screen. Count remains 0-2.
That's part of half the battle of finding out what the blue stone is. And both pitchers have done a nice job of that.
We are in extra innings in Murfreesboro. Glad you could join us on the TSSAA network. 3-all the score. We're in the top of the 8th. Davidson Academy and USJ. As Gray is going to weakly swing and hit a pop up to the first baseman McFarland, who corrals it. And that will end the top of the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. State championship hanging in the balance. And the Bruins of USJ will send Pickens, Exum, and Rice to the plate. And Savannah Hill, 15 strikeouts on the day. At some point, you just wonder which of these pitchers is going to make a mistake that a hitter is going to turn around and execute on.
Right.
That's what happens in extra innings, is becomes mistakes.
Right, right. And which batter is going to take advantage of that mistake. I mean, we tell our players all the time, if a pitcher makes a mistake, make her pay for it. Can't look at it, and the first batter to do that may mean the difference of the winner of this championship game.
Well, Pickens comes to the plate. She has struck out, singled, and grounded out in her 3 plate appearances. She'll be followed by Exum, who has struck out 3 times, and Rice, who's walked and struck out twice. So in this sort of middle to lower third of the order, not a lot of luck for the Bruins.
No, but as a batter, you got to go up each time forgetting the first 3 times that you've gotten up, or the previous 3 times. You can't have that monkey on your back. You can't worry about the previous times at the plate, and just be in the present moment and take care of business. Have to have a short memory in the game of softball.
First pitch from Hill to Pickens, outside. You know, Wines pitches, ball hit in the air, catches the screen for a foul. That's a strike. It's 1-1.
No, Dwayne, you have to have a winner and you have to have a loser, but this is going to be a tough one for one team.
Well, certainly it will be, Kieran. It'll be a difficult, it'll be a well-won state championship for one team and a difficult loss for another. Hill's pitch, swung on and missed. Count now 1-2 to Pickens.
Pickens is also an 8th grader for USJ, so another huge 8th grade stepping up into the field of battle.
Swings, fouls the ball down the third base line. Count remains 1-2.
Sure, Coach Dunn is excited about his future there at University School, having this many young ones in the state championship game. Not many teams can say they have 4 or 5 8th graders on their roster, more or less starting.
As Pickens steps out, kind of to compose and gather herself. That ball just misses. Count all square at 2-2. She pops the ball up into left center field, and the center fielder, Gibson, can't run it down. That ball stayed in the air for a long time, Karen. I thought Gibson would easily get there, and she cannot. And a big hit to start the bottom of the 8th for Kristen Pickens.
She had a little ways to run and made an effort, diving to catch, but just couldn't quite get there in time. I think she hesitated for a few minutes off the bat, seeing the ball off the bat. That was a huge hit for Pickens.
Certainly was, and that, as we mentioned, that ball in the air a long time. I thought Gibson would have a chance to get it. Bunt attempt is fouled straight back as Exum trying to move the runner to third.
I'd like to see Exum start at the top of that strike zone with that bat and not drop that bat head down to pop it up. She can stay on top. Be a huge advantage for the University to get that runner at third base, and that's what Coach Dunn is trying to do.
Double into the left center field gap to start the bottom of the 8th by Kristen Pickens. Exum squares once again. This time she gets the bunt down beautifully, does her job. It'll be a 1-3 sacrifice, moving Pickens to third.
She did a much better job that time of keeping the bat up and staying on top of the ball and not dropping the bat head down in the zone and advancing that runner to third base. Now you got your winning run at third.
So Pickens stands at third with Anna Rice. Rice, who's walked and struck out twice.
Looks like we've got our
actually we have a pinch hitter.
In.
And that's 44, Allie McFarland.
Which has been the
He's been
flex
your
player.
Yeah, he's been your flex player. So McFarland, the first baseman, now will step in and bat here in the 8th. So McFarland getting her direction from Brian Dunn down to third base.
Have to like University's chances right here. Fly ball. Sacrifice fly to the outfield to score that run if it's deep enough. Base hit scores a run.
McFarland steps in against Hill. She swings. She puts the ball in the air to the right side. The right fielder is going to come running in. Second baseman
drops it.
Correct. Collides. It drops. And Pickens will score from third base. And USJ wins the ball game 4-3. They are your 2012 Division II Class A state champions. And Karen, I hesitated there for a while as Raines was going out, Gasaway was coming in. I thought Gasaway was going to call her off, and they both just kind of stopped because they were afraid of colliding, and the ball falls between them.
Yeah, that's your communication gap right there, where you got to have that outfielder calling off the infielder, because the infielder is going to continue going back, and that outfielder just has to call her off. And I think they both were hesitating, and unfortunately that ball dropped in. But you got to give USJ a lot of credit. They stayed in with it and battled. I mean, they could have easily gave in when it was a 3-2 game, and was down to their last time at bat. Came up, tied it up.
We'll step aside and we'll take a break. We'll be back to wrap it up from Murfreesboro. 4-3 your final. USJ defeats Davidson Academy for the Division II Class A softball crown. You're watching Softball Championship action produced by Play on Sports. This is the TSSAA Network. There you see a shot of the 2012 Division II Class A softball champions. The Spring Fleet tournament title goes to the University School of Jackson Lady Bruins. 4 runs. The final one in the bottom of the 8th, a big hit by Allie McFarland.
Well, I tell you can't say enough about the 3 that got up to plate that inning. They all did their job, executed perfectly. Pickens started off with a double. Then you had Katie Exum laying down a perfect sacrifice bunt to move Pickens to third, and then a big double for McFarland. So those 3 just executed perfectly, did their job, played the short game when they had to, and then put the ball in play, and to win the ball game. Did a nice job. I said McFarland hit a double. She didn't hit a double. She hit a gap over the second baseman's head.
A nice pitching performance by both. The winner is, of course, Lauren Rydell. She's now 3-1 in this tournament. Savannah Hill falls to 3-2, but she had a great day with 15 strikeouts. But the University School of Jackson found a way to answer her on the mound. They scored 4 runs, 1 in the bottom of the 8th. They finished with 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Davidson Academy. And for the University School of Jackson, this is their 2nd state championship in the last 3 years. They were tournament title winners in 2010 and once again here in 2012. For Karen Green, my name's Dwayne Hickey. Thanks for joining us for the Blue Cross Spring Fling Softball Championships. The Division II Class A 2012 tournament champion is the USJ Lady Bruins, produced by Play on Sports. You've been watching the TSSAA network.
And now please show your appreciation to your 2012 Division IIA runner-up team, the Lady Bears of Davidson Academy. And now please direct your attention to the third base line, where we present the championship coaches plaque to coach of your 2012 Division IIA state champion, Coach Brian Dunn. And now your 2012 Tennessee State 2A champions, the Lady Bruins of USJ, University School of Jackson.